We should clarify something for the DVD. We are on page 97 of the script. We start filming in 5 months, and what we're doing right now is figuring out how the movie ends. This is how we type.
Our goal was to make a huge action movie.
That was our intention, was to make a big, huge action movie that explored the hero-sidekick relationship.
Well, it's like, I'm the type of person that needs this guy to bring out my potential. That's all it is, and that's like what a relationship movie is.
I mean, that was something we'd honestly been trying to write for years. We have
like 5 other ideas.
We had like the first 5 pages of several scripts about 2 guys trying to become superheroes.
And it involved a lot of just discussing, like, what do people expect from superhero movies?
Well, we just kind of wanted to really dissect a lot of superhero movies in general. Normally, it's like the hero is the one who does everything and the sidekick is the one who helps him. And right away, we wanted to flip that and make it that the sidekick was the one who does everything. In most of these movies, in Spider-Man and Batman, the father is always this great role model who instills this wisdom on the kid. And in our movies, the father's a dick, basically, who the kid hates.
Trying doesn't matter when you always fail.
The villain is always this person who's extremely eloquent and secure and in charge of everything, and our villain is completely uneloquent and insecure.
Decapitated statues. I decapitated real people.
I think the real challenge and goal was to take the things that people liked and make it part of the movie, so if you'd seen the show, you'd be satisfied, but do it in a way that if you'd never heard of the Green Hornet before you saw our movie, you didn't feel like you weren't in on what was happening. Something as small as like when we're in the elevator. It's like, Hornet gun, check. Missiles, check.
What's the worst? What's the worst? Missiles?
4 missiles left. Hornet gun?
Check. Machine guns? Check. Does it drive?
I mean, that was in every episode of the show. So if you've seen the show, it's something that you'd be, oh, they're doing the thing from the show. But if you've never seen the show, you're not thinking, what the hell are they doing? Ah, it must be something from the TV show.
Since there isn't any real info on the guy's identity, what do we call him?
We needed to make literally the reason I'm called the Green Hornet a part of the story and the emotions of all of it.
The Green Bee.
Yeah, like the fact that they have this crazy car. That was something we really had to justify. We had to make Kato a mechanic.
Your dad made me do this kind of stuff over the last few years.
Old man was getting paranoid, huh? Like, if you look at the TV show and you look at our movie and if you were to tell someone, like, the TV show starts, like, 5 years after our movie takes place, like, it would work perfectly. Like, there's no lapse in logic and, like, we didn't completely destroy anything that they created or anything like that. What we really tried to do was, like, justify how 2 guys would actually become the Green Hornet and Kato.
We saved those people, man. We saved their lives. So here's what I'm saying. We keep doing this. We do that every night, I'm saying.
We knew that, like, me as a superhero is not what people would expect.
One could call it preposterous.
Exactly. So to play into that idea, to start with something that you could totally see me as, which is a moron who drinks all day, and slowly turn that guy into a superhero became something that was interesting.
I don't even think you have a plan.
I do have a plan. I just haven't told it to you yet. And it's amazing, okay? Not only did he have no superpowers, he wasn't particularly intelligent in any way. He just ultimately had a motivation to be a good person.
The basic setup is the same and has been the same in all incarnations. He's the rich dude who pays for everything. Kato's the guy who kicks ass and gets coffee.
We really tried to keep the relationship exactly the same as a TV show. We just tried to add, what would it be like if they actually talked about this relationship and how weird it was.
You say rude thing to me all day, every day. That's not how partners work.
We're not partners. I'm the hero. You're my sidekick.
Kato knows that he only treated him like garbage because he was insecure. Like, he knows that. Like, think about how many people we deal with in our actual lives that are dicky, but we know that it's because they're insecure, so we forgive them for it. I think it happened today a few times to me.
It's beyond apparent he's better at everything.
He starts to feel like he's slighted by Britt and that the alter ego relationship is dominating the superhero relationship, and that just because they pretend that he's the butler during the day doesn't mean that when they're superheroes he should be subservient to him at all times.
Hey, Kato! Can you make me some coffee? Whatever you can whip up will be great. Lenore, have you had this little bastard's coffee?
And the Lenore character had to be restructured a good deal because her character in the show, she knew who Britt Reed was, and she kind of like relayed some messages to him.
It was very sexist.
And he flirted with her.
She did nothing really on the show.
She was a hot girl.
Yeah.
She is hot. It's crazy how hot she is.
A lot of these movies, I mean, the female character just kind of feels like an obligatory thing that's stuck in there, and we needed to try to think of a way to do it where the heroes literally couldn't function without the role of this female character.
Gotta get out of the streets.
Where the hell are we gonna go?
What what we did is we made it that Britt Reed and Kato know nothing about the criminal world at all, and she unknowingly to her becomes the mastermind behind their whole operation, and she's feeding them what their next step should be.
What are your thoughts on this Green Hornet character?
He'll start out small, and then he'll work his way up to the top. He'll probably try to appropriate more power.
Cameron totally helped us write that character in a lot of ways.
It's true, she actually came up with a lot of the idea that the character was very involved in journalism.
She like flatly refused to do certain things as the character that were sexist or very standard, and it helped make the character like way more interesting.
It's true, she would just say like, this is what this character does in every one of these movies. It made us realize, even as hard as we had tried to break a lot of the stereotypes, we didn't. I mean, you fall into it, and she was very, in a great way, vocal about like calling us on it.
I know.
Oh my God.
How did you do that to me?
Because you tried to kiss me.
Yeah, we were gonna make out.
No, we weren't.
And in all these movies, though, there is always the sexual tension between the guy and the girl, and there's always that romantic story. And honestly, when I watch these movies, I could give a shit about the romantic story. I want to see people blowing things up.
But like her kid went on one date, and then he got her fired. I mean, she at that point would just like never really. She wouldn't even talk to him.
I don't kiss him. We don't kiss.
at me.
You and I don't kiss. You guys might kiss. I don't kiss you guys.
And between the two of them, it's like a battle. It's like, I'm gonna get her. No, I'm gonna get her. And like, at no point is anyone gonna get her.
It's very high school. It's very immature, but I think that's what's funny about it. Lots of people lying about telling people they kissed people they didn't kiss and stuff like that. That always makes me laugh.
So today's one of the crazier days ever for me and Seth. Nicolas Cage has quit the movie. Moving on, we need a new actor. And we have a whole bunch of people we've decided to send the script to.
We have a lot of actors in mind. It looks like maybe this Christoph Waltz gentleman of Inglourious Bastards may be getting the script soon.
We lost our initial Chudnovsky and got him with 3 days to rewrite his character before he started filming, so that was a challenge.
While we were filming, I was dressed as the Green Hornet. I would walk off set and go over to a table where Evan and him were sitting, and we would rewrite the scenes.
At one point, we were finishing his character up while he was, for the first time, dressed as his
getting
character.
dressed to go film.
And we were like, so we got to justify your clothing right now.
Exactly. I mean, that was the decision. The first shot that Christoph shot was a shot of him standing on the balcony of the hibachi restaurant, and we had to make the decision, were we committing to the Blavatsky idea or not? So literally in that moment, we're like, we're going with the Blavatsky thing. And I'm glad we did, because I think it's awesome. But we kind of went to an idea that we had earlier, which was this supervillain who's kind of outdated. And the new breed of criminal wants someone interesting and charismatic to be their leader, and he just is not providing that for them. We're taking this Brad Pitt draft, which was the Blavatsky draft, which is what we all really liked, which is basically about a villain who doesn't feel as though he's charismatic enough and sees that the men don't think he's as interesting as this other guy who comes along. And he starts to kind of slowly become obsessed with the idea of giving himself some kind of persona, as the Green Hornet did.
It should be like, it's like, I understand you've been taking everything over, that you control like most of the city in your criminal grasp. But when you and me are sitting here at this table and I'm looking at you, I see a man who I could beat the out of. I see a man who is not a threat to me.
Yeah.
You do not frighten me.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna. Yeah, that's perfect. Right. It's good, Evan.
I got bittersweet news for you. You're washed up. You're old. You're boring. You're not scary.
What, you truly don't think I'm scary?
No.
Okay. Just as the Green Hornet slowly becomes a superhero, we wanted the villain to slowly become a supervillain and to kind of start as a run-of-the-mill guy and become a kind of larger-than-life guy.
And it's kind of spurred on by the basic feel of when, like one of your friend's dads gets a leather jacket and a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But it's like really lame.
Yeah.
It's like he like can't figure out how to be cool and young anymore, but he wants to be. So it's kind of a midlife crisis story.
Yeah.
I am Blavatsky. I killed 1,000 before and I killed 1,000 more. Now tremble before your death. For be it my mask, or be it your blood, red will be the last color you'll ever see.
It's a movie really about jealousy and insecurity, and we thought, which is kind of not what any of these movies are about. I mean, we wanted it that, like, every character was kind of really insecure with where they were in life, and they're trying to overcome that. And because I just think that's something that's really relatable, and to do that as a big superhero movie was something that we thought would be different.
Most of the stupid ideas actually come from Seth, if you really want to get down to it. Half of his schooling was in Hebrew, which in the long run is a deficit. He's half as good at English.
It's probably true, actually.